Hey guys, this is an Old World Blues DLC video of all the weapons you can get. I think this is all the weapons. The DLC's only been out for about 5 odd hours, so I'm not really sure, but I'll just get started. This thing in my hand at the moment is just a teleportation device which is given to you once you finish the DLC, which is how you get to and from the Mojave. So I'll get started with the proper weapons. First I'll go with the gloves, then I'll move on to melee, and then finish with the stronger weapons. So this is the corrosive glove. So far I've only found like 2 of them, so they're pretty rare. It does dam 23 for a DPS of 15, so it's not that strong, but it does critical acid damage, so when you get a critical hit it burns, that's bloody Mugsy getting in the way, it burns the target, so that's that one. Next glove is the sterilizer glove, which is essentially the same thing as a corrosive glove, except instead of acid it sets the target on fire. So another pretty simple thing. Next is the scientist glove, which is a pretty standard weapon. You find these a lot around the place, and also it's essentially the same thing as the corrosive and the sterilizer, but it's purely dam and DPS. It doesn't have any added ability, so it's the worst of the 4 gloves. And finally, this is Dr. Kleiner's glove, and I've just noticed that on the side it says Dr. K, obviously standing for Dr. Klein, who, if you've not played the DLC, sorry, like the main antagonist, well, you don't find out he's the antagonist until the end, so spoilers. Anyway, so his is just the best glove, so it has a lot of added abilities. So critical hit, and it destroys their, well, nearly destroys their any chance of them being able to kill you, because it lowers their strength and damage threshold. It does 35 for 29, which again isn't that great. Okay, now we'll move on to some of the energy weapons. Well, really essentially the only energy weapons in the game. So this is the LAER, and I have no idea what that stands for. I've only found a couple of these as well, and you can get a couple mods for it. So this one's the auxiliary recharger chip, which recharges some ammo over time, and this one is the prismatic lens, which splits the beam. I don't really see the point in that second one, but this is what it looks like. That's how it fires. It's pretty powerful. It does 184 DPS, which is obviously a lot. You need a pretty high energy weapon count to be able to use it fully. So there's this one, and then there's also a unique version of it, which is Elijah's Advanced LAER, which, if you've played Dead Money, you'll know Elijah is that mad guy that tries to trap you in the vault. You either kill him or trap him in the vault in the Sierra Madre in the Dead Money playthrough, but he's mentioned a lot in this DLC as well. So his gun essentially, well, it looks exactly the same as the other LAER, yeah, and but it does a little bit more damage, and it's a bit cooler. Okay, next we'll move on to melee weapons. So this is probably the most common weapon in the game. It's in the DLC, sorry. It's the proton axe, which is carried by the lobotomites. You'll find it everywhere, and it's a really, really powerful weapon. It's worth, depending on your bar skill, about 3,500, which is an awful lot for a weapon you find around, so you're going to be raking in the caps. So it looks really, really good. It's got huge damage for a melee weapon, especially against robots and power armor and stuff, because it's kind of like the pulse gun, it EMPs them. So then there's also a smaller version of it, which is the throwing version. So it's pretty much just the same thing, except you can chuck it, and when you throw them, you can see there's a wee EMP blast. And then there's an even better version of the proton axe, which is called the protonic inversal axe, which is essentially the same thing, except it has a more sort of purple look to it, and does a little bit more damage, and also looks a lot cooler, so that's cool too. This is again the smaller version of it. So again, does more damage. The protonic ones are a lot rarer than the proton axes themselves, so when you find one, you're going to want to keep it if you're wondering what that weird thing is around my head, I'll be making a clothes and armor video very soon, so I'll explain that in that video. Moving on to the other unarmed / melee weapons. This is the Saturine Fist, which you'll find an awful lot. It's pretty much just a power fist, except you can attack a lot faster. And then also, if you talk to your Mad Toaster through here, you can superheat it and turn it into this, which is the Saturine Fist superheated. It does essentially the same thing as the Saturine Fist, except it burns targets as well. So that's pretty cool. You can, in theory, you could have an infinite amount of these. Well, depending on how many Saturine Fists there are. It's a good weapon. I had these all nicely laid out, but bloody Mugsy's knocked them all over. Anyway, this is the X2 antennae. It's kind of a weird weapon. I mean, it's huge and its attack speed is so slow. It's on a quest, and for some reason they make you go and get it. I don't really know why, but that's another one of the weapons. And then there's 2 more weapons left. Of the ones I've got anyway. The one you will have seen if you watch the advert and things is the K9000 Cyberdog gun, which also has 2 mods on it. One being the Resla Royal, I think, which increases weapon damage, and the Mentat Chow, which increases the weapon's fire rate. So this gun makes noises when you fire it. It does have a scope. It fires 357. It does 344 DPS for 25 dam. So it's a pretty good gun. You can see it's got a brain in the sort of bottom left hand corner of it. And it's pretty much, if any of you watched or if you heard of Doctor Who, it's like a reference to that, being the K9000 dog. So you get given one of these, and you'll find another one later on a weird skull spaceman. And then also there's a unique version of it, which is Fido, which is a more sort of aggressive, more powerful version. It fires 44 mag rather than 357. I think this is unique anyway. I've only got one of them. You have to make it, so really you could have more than one, so it's not really unique, but still. And it has like a red brain, and if the quality is good enough, you'll see it's got like a bulldog's face just beside the scope, so it fires a red, and it's a lot more like powerful, and it fires a lot more rounds per second. It's not actually that much powerful than the K9000, but it's got a higher dam, so it'll kill targets faster. And then on to lastly the Sonic pistols, Sonic emitter pistols. There's 4 kinds, but you can only, in my opinion, you can only have 2 at one time, because I've only been given 2, and I've completed the DLC. So there's this one, the Robo Scorpion one, which is pretty cool. And then there's the Tarantula version, which is this one. Each of them does something different. Like this one, when you get a critical hit, it sets them on fire. When this one, it makes them explode. And then once you've gone through enough, you go to your jukebox man here, and then you recalibrate your pistols. So there's, as you can see, 5 different options here. Revelation's the one you get given, so I'm not going to bother showing that because it's terrible. There's also Gabriel's Bark, and then I'll just change the other one to the Opera Singer. So then Gabriel's Bark is just sort of a red one, kind of similar to the Robo Scorpion one. And this one's special effect is that it knocks enemies back if you get a critical strike on them. And then there's the Opera Singer, which is if in a critical hit or critical kill, it dismembers them, which I don't really understand why you would want that. But anyway, I think this is the most powerful one of 4, hence why it has a drawback. Or they might all be the same, I don't really know. But that is all of the weapons, I think, in Old World Blues. As I said at the start of the video, this is day 1, DLC's been out for about 5 hours and I haven't found any other guns, so if there is any more, leave in the comments below. And I'm sorry for the poor quality, I'm on holiday, so that would be my suit making that noise. I'm on holiday, so I don't have a Dazzle or anything, so I was just filming it with my iPhone. But I just wanted to make the video so you could see what you're going to be getting if you're going to buy the DLC. I would definitely recommend it. Out of the 3 that have already come out, this is by far the best one. It's funny, it's kind of exciting to play, and this place I'm in now, the sink, is like a really good hub for anywhere you are, really. So, thanks for watching.